Let's take a look at today's papers. The Daily Mail reports that ministers are aiming for a major lifting of restrictions in May if the vaccine rollout continues as planned.
But then the lead story is a word of caution from the former Health Secretary Jeremy Hunt. The paper quotes him saying that ministers should wait until cases have fallen to 1,000 a day before lifting lockdown.
The Daily Telegraph's headline story focuses on the logistics of the hotel quarantine system. There's also a picture of a woman submerged in ice-cold water in the Cairngorms National Park as Britain prepares for a few days of freezing conditions. And Matt will keep us up to date with that.
Yeah, that was someone actually who broke the ice to go for a swim. Ooh, and a story about a lockdown baby boom is one of the most read articles on the BBC News website. On one street in Bristol, 6 women fell pregnant at the same time. The first new arrivals entering the world this week. One mother-to-be joked there must be something in the water.
John Kay ran a piece about that as well, seeing all the ladies who were pregnant in that street. I'm sure you can find it on the website.
Nice for camaraderie, though, for their families.
Yeah, absolutely. Got anything inside?
Well, I'll draw your attention to this film. Do you know, at the moment we're watching an awful lot of television, aren't we? And maybe you've had enough trash and you want to watch something big, and maybe you have an opinion about Westerns. You kind of think about Westerns being something that were quite old, you think about John Wayne or whatever. So there's a brand new big-scale Western movie coming out. Gets better and better. Tom Hanks is the star of this movie called News of the World. And
just as an aside, did Tom Hanks voice Woody in Toy Story?
Yes, he did.
That's all I can see Tom Hanks as now, as Woody the cowboy.
Well, that feels like a very different film from this one.
OK.
Interestingly, I was just reading, I hadn't heard anything about this film, and the young actress who's in it with him, who he ends up sort of caring for, I won't go into the story in detail, but she's multi-Golden Globe nominated for various roles. And so in this film, he plays, in the Wild West, a newsreader, which I didn't know really existed in those days. But he's a travelling newsreader, so he goes into towns and takes with him information he's gleaned along the way, and people pay, and he tells them things that have been happening elsewhere.
Newsreader cowboy? Yeah.
Well, he's not a cowboy exactly. That's his job. He goes round picking up information and passing it on to people. So, but it's, do you know what? A big-scale movie is something to delight in. News of the World, it's called.
Well, in a similar vein, I was going to bring some good news about the film industry. I was just reading this, and, you know, so often of late, we've been hearing about so many industries that are struggling, of course. But Britain's film and television industry bounced back in the last quarter of 2020. Now, you may wonder what I mean by bouncing back, since we haven't been to the cinemas or anything. It's because the biggest studios are resurrecting production on future blockbusters. So in a similar vein of your big Western, annual spending, of course, was down, but there was this end-of-year splurge of activity, which has excited many in the industry. The British Film Institute's chief executive said after an unbelievably tough year, the final quarter's boom in production spending showed an incredibly vibrant and positive picture for the film and television in the UK.
Well, I guess like other industries, they're adapting to the restraints upon which they're working.
Some good news.